How about my dearest YouTube friends? Today we are in a new video and a very important video, because let's remember that Battlegrounds have been submerged in a spectacular way with a new currency that is Radiance. Therefore, it is totally necessary to arrive at the Gladian circuit in a week to be able to obtain this coin. And here I bring you who are the best attackers and defenders to enter this route of victory and lead. Everything is easy to go to the gladiator circuit and get that radiance. The nodes we are going to have for this victory route are going to be the following: Sorcerer Gunner, always with a Mystic Attacker active. The Gunner steals 30% of the defender's maximum power. While the Mystic Gunner is active from the defender, it cannot obtain power when receiving impact. Therefore, we are already seeing that the goal of this victory route path is designed for the attacking mystical characters. When the attacker reaches a power bar, the defender has a power harvest upgrade that grants 100% of a power bar in 4 seconds. It has unavoidable power. For each improvement obtained, the defender receives a charge of power. After reaching 8 charges, he obtains a passive effect of power effectiveness for 7 seconds. During this time, all improvements to the defender cannot be undone or hindered. Therefore, we are already seeing that the meta defender is designed for cosmic characters that gain many improvements, okay? In addition, the attacker spirit's power collection rate increases by 50%. Therefore, we are going to be able to launch the relic more frequently. So now, yes, we are going to pass the best attackers for this season 28. Well, friends, we are already with the attackers, and you are already seeing that we have made the division between the node of season 28, which are God Semi, and which are going to be usable. Okay, let's start with America Charles. Let's remember that he is a mystical character who is going to be benefiting from the node, and above all, very important, everyone who is here in node in season 28 has to be assigned a mystical relic to steal the power of the opponent. In this case, Archangel Te can be used. All thanks to the fact that we can put neurotoxins in it, and we are going to lower the skill accuracy of both the character and the node. Therefore, it may be working for us. In this case, Sentinel goes to Semi, thanks to the fact that it has a great attack range, and above all, that it is very fast through the disadvantages of Incineration. Cosmic Rider, another one that goes to God. But in this case, you have to be in God because it is quite fast. But above all, the Mystics are in charge here. Count Nefaria is also going to God, thanks to the fact that when the character has an improvement in power accumulation, you will be developing it more quickly with those accumulations of energy. Therefore, we will benefit from the Daffler fight. In this case, another god, because it is very fast, the super easy character to perform all the characters' combos to be able to develop that maximum damage. Dr. Dan is leaving for the new season 28. For me, it is one of the best things you can be using, thanks to the fact that you are going to remove that accumulation improvement power when we obtain that super attack 1. In this case, Sand would drop a little because it is true that it is not that fast, but once you develop it, it does brutal damage. Scorpio, however, it goes to gods, because let's remember that if we are not playing with a mystical character, the defending character is going to be gaining power. Therefore, we are going to be able to put the disadvantages. Horrible Scorpion. We're gonna be hurting him the whole time. If on top of that, with the effectiveness of power, it reaches the defender, the faster it will be throwing away the subsidies. Therefore, the more windows it will leave us to leave all the possible disadvantages. Spiral, more of the same. It is influenced by the node of the season, and it is quite advisable to bring the Galan character, a character that also works very well for us, does a lot of damage, and quickly, therefore, we are going to leave him in gods. Just like our friend Hit Monkey, in this case Hood, a mystical character who does terrible damage, that leaves curses and does explosive damage, and if we combine him with the fact that he is mystical and we have a relic, he becomes a very good character. Iron Man in fame goes up, because let's remember that one of the few characters who can control the power of the technological class. Therefore, it is a character that can work very well for you in this season. So find more of the same, because let's remember that they are going to be giving us cosmic characters, and it was time for this character to shine in the meta. Let's remember that Isofine becomes strong thanks to the number of improvements that the opponent has, and in this case, since we are going to have cosmic defending characters, Isofine is going to develop. In a spectacular way, we have Yugerlon, more of the same, a mystical character that looks very strong with the opponent's advantages, and apart from that damage that they have massive kindle more than those of the same character that serves you both for attack and defense. That's why he's here. Let's remember that this character introduces atrophy, therefore it makes the disadvantages of forgiveness, the opponent's advantages, last less, therefore it will benefit us. In that sense, use it more of the same. Let's remember that he is a character that can negate the improvements. It is going to be quite good for us, and in comparación we can leave incineration disadvantages to harm the character. Lord Shot, more of the same, top mystical character that is going to go up. Let's remember that this character has massive acceleration damage through super attack 2, and that the more upgrades the opponent has and the more he cancels them, the more damage he will do. Therefore, Lord Shot becomes a very strong weapon. In this season, Luke goes up because let's remember that this character puts this one in coercion with his blows, which prevents the opponent from gaining power. Therefore, Lukács comes very well for this Lumatrix node. However, he goes to semi is a character, right? Let us remember that it has a totally absurd damage when we develop it effectively. Mr. Sinister is another character that can work quite well for us. Let's remember that we have to be putting disadvantages, strong blows, and in this case we have a node that can benefit us because they do not take away anything of that style from us. Nimrod goes up, although it is still blocked, and if it is like that, it would not be an option. Well preferred, let's remember that this character can block powers when they reach the power bars, therefore it can be good for us in some cases depending on the fight. Okoye is going to be quite good for us because he is a character who does a lot of damage in a short time. Therefore, in the end, by being massive damage, and in this case through disadvantages, we are going to work very well in the photon fight. However, we could be using Grace until it can leave us many disadvantages in the presentation. Let's remember that with the disadvantages. We remove probability from the copy of the power, but Photon. Rather, she is here because she is also a very good defender. Quicksilver is very good for us up. The only thing with this character, we have to clarify that we have to put in withers, that we remember that the withers of Quicksilver must have them when we dodge many times backwards with a strong blow. We enter the fight, we dodge back. If we get one, I think it is from 300 illusion charges, we are going to let it wither with each skill, and this is going to make it not charge. Therefore, it is going to be very good for us. Red Skull, more of the same. With the shovels, we are going to be taking away power from the opponent. Ringtra goes up as a mystical character, although for me it is not a preferred option because the damage is very random screen, more of the same, very good damage in a short time. Satra character that looks very strong with this node thanks to the amounts of upgrades that the cultured opponent of the desk may be gaining more of the same. In this case, you have to take him to super attack 2 to be able to leave those disadvantages to wither and prevent the opponent from winning power, just like Hulk or the Y. That is going to work very well for us. Also, if in my Supreme Court we are going to the end of season 28, Sampo remains silent because let's remember that when we put integration disadvantages on the opponent while maintaining a strong blow, we are going to be taking away a little bit of power from the opponent, and that can be key. And besides, Sampo has totally absurd damage. Our character Thanos Deathless also stays in Gods, totally worth it. It has massive, easy to develop damage. Tigra goes up because she's also a character. Misty CO. It is influenced by the Titania node. It may be working for us, but I am almost using the Semi because I think it has better characters to be able to carry. In this season, B-Vision, almost the same thing happens to him as with Reces Coolerman in Fame, a character that drains power, burns power, and takes away power. Therefore, it comes very well in this Vox node, more of the same thanks to the massive disadvantages that Warlock is leaving. It will always come well, but in this case we leave it in Semi, and finally Wiccan is another character that is influenced by the node. In the end here, what will shine are the mystics. Remember that, and always with a mystical relic. So this way the best attackers for this season 28 would be left for me. Let's go get the best defenders. Well friends, we are already the best defenders, and here we must highlight, as we have seen before the notes, that those who are going to send are those who have the greatest number of possible and available improvements during the fight, that they are created, that they are put directly with the node we have. So here the Cosmics are going to be opening, for example, Adam Warlow, a character who generates a lot of power, can become unlockable. As you are stopping a lot of weapons in the future, it becomes a cause. Let's remember that this character is totally a defender who goes above and beyond. Having the robustness improvements, Nano Quantica I think is called handsome in style, and where the future is totally worth it, just like Arca, the character that has automatic locking and has a series of improvements, and that may be giving you a hard time. In this case, Atuma lowers the defender issue a little. In the end here, those who have improvements look strong, and Atuma has no improvements. Vetera and Bill goes up in the end by being a cosmic defender because it generates many bug improvements, and in this case you always go. But one more pain of X than Tuna, and he's going to go to God's Captain and Marvel movie. Let's remember that this character does you a lot of damage if he is capable of giving you. In this case, he is not such a good defender, but in the end, as a cosmic being, he should be here. Colossus, a character that generates a lot of robustness, therefore a very good defender character, and if he generates a lot of robustness, it may be difficult for you to defeat him. In this case, the potential of the defense enchanter decreases a little. As always, it is a pain in the balls, no matter what node it is enchanters, it always must. Into Battlegrounds, Galan's pool is going up. Let's remember that this character is going to be gaining improvements whether or not we are hitting him, whether we are hitting him with his unstoppable, with his unblockable subs, with those physics and energy vulnerabilities. In the end, it is very, very top. The character, the gladiator, more of the same. This is going to generate improvements as the seconds pass, unless we hit it, and starting with its super attacks, it will leave improvements. And if we add him to the node, well, you can have a pretty top character in defense, just like Hyperion, just like Hulkling. In the end, the cosmic characters here are going to defensively send Iron Man, and the same thing happens to G, almost like they love from the future. He is a character that generates a lot of robustness as you hit him, and he has great resistance, therefore he is a good defender. Jessica Jones in this case lowers her potential defender a little, and even so she is a very good kindred option. In this case she lowers usable. This one is good for us in attack. In this node more than in the core defense, the same thing happens to Katuma. The potential drops a little because the nodes do not benefit him. The mole in this case is less usable, although it is a great defender, and in the end you have to bleed it to avoid its rocky loads. He's a character you can be perfectly using. Master, Medusa, and Nova are characters at the end who are influenced by the node. In the end they are cosmic, especially Master. He is a character who is going to be very, very influenced. Medusa more of the same, because she wins Furias all the time and innovates in the end. He is a character who has a walking pain in X, and he has stops, he has furies, he has unlockables. In the end, he is a fairly complete character, defensively speaking. Oslo, as it is always a pain in the balls no matter which node it is in. In fact, I consider it more pain than Tuna, and that photon runs will leave us in semi-red school, as it will always be a pain on top of it. It is going to make improvements robustness like Airman Olgi, and how they are from the future with their super attacks and how we are going. Developing the fight, and on top of that with that automatic block, it can be for us prolonging the fight, which in the end is what we are looking for. Screen, a cosmic character that generates many improvements, and on top of that it hurts a lot that as at atake a super attack 2, as you receive a super attack 2 from this character, you are more than dead. Snake goes up to us, just like Terras, just like give him. They are cosmic characters that can be good for us. The only thing we have to highlight is Terras, which is a character that must be very duplicated for that load. That earthquake thing, I think it's called, can do you a lot of damage, otherwise I wouldn't put it okay, but you are a piece of beast defending and going, and on top of that, when your money, that one is generating those furies, and Snake, we already know it is a Snake Friends, Storm, Pyramideki cannot be working, but in this case it is going to go down a little. Let's remember that this character is going to generate efficiencies, and as always, he is a good defender, because he is going to divert you to the soul. Venom, another character that generates improvements, and above all, it is important to have good uniqueness of the character, because we have the ability to have another third genetic improvement when entering the fight. Therefore, the more improvements, the faster you will be developing it in defenders. The same thing happens to him as Venom Pool, although it is a little later than Venom to view, because more of the same thing, a character that generates a lot of accumulation of power, therefore he is a pretty top box defender character, more of the same character defender that is going to generate robustness, in this case in defense, and can serve us again in both attack and defender, therefore he should be here. Warlock, in this case, he will always serve us. He is a defensive character that will take away your reaction, he will take away your power, and can serve you very well. And finally, I put a hole in X, which in this case, I think that as I put X, it goes down a little. So friends, because in this way the battle on Season 28 would remain, both attackers and defenders, I have to tell you that good luck everyone, and that we are going to see how this Season 28 is with these buffed awards. And with all the prices that are coming and the new currency to radios, remember that you have my WhatsApp in the description in case you want help. And get to the Gladiator Circus in the first week. You have my WhatsApp in the description and I will help you. So friends, I hope you liked the video. Sugi, you are not here, and see you in other videos. Bye bye.